Oh, it did. It did zoom in.
That's good. William Stage here. I'm going to be reading from my new novel, St Francis of Dogtown, a crime novel. And here we have chapter 6, Francis meets Stoney. Here we have Stoney in a quiet Jefferson County subdivision on a weekday afternoon, leaving a home where a woman lies dead. Before this, he was down the road celebrating another successful daylight burglary with partner in crime, Deke. Stoney staggered out of the home, trying not to trip, as he negotiated the 10 yards of driveway to his parked car. If anything, he was more tanked than when he went in. For after he had done that lady, he found a bottle of Lambrusco on the kitchen counter. Now he was burping it up, kind of sweet. It didn't sit well on top of all that whiskey and beer. He felt his face burning where she'd scratched him. Bitch. Why couldn't she just go along? It could have been so good for both of them. He knocked at her door only wanting some company. Maybe get it on too, but she had to go and ruin it. And well, he had his way anyhow, didn't he? Best to lay low for a while. Should he worry about what next? Probably, but for now the booze was shooing away thoughts of deputies on the lookout and him getting caught. He thought of Deke just down the road. Deke would find out, but he would understand. Deke was all right. And he has a horse. Through a haze, Stoney remembered going to the barn and Deke showing him a horse. Big brown animal with a black mane and a patch of white on his nose. He went to pet it and the thing tried to bite him on the forearm. Fucking horse. Can't accept an act of kindness? He got to his car, tried 3 times to get the keys into the ignition. He talked to his car, as he often did, asked it to just get him home so he could sleep it off and then figure what to do. Francis turned on into Porsche Way, no homes in sight. He puttered along looking for an address, sycamores and oaks measuring his progress. There, a mailbox, 408. He was looking for 566. He got ready the things he needed, the papers to be served, his process server ID, his logbook, and a pen. It would be on the left up here, just a ways now, over that crest. On the other side of the crest, he saw a nice lawn and a mailbox. There was a thick row of canna lilies lining the property at one side, red blooms at their tops. There was a car coming toward him, and it looked as if it was just leaving. The car slowed as it got closer, and the driver held up his palm. Francis stopped in the blue Dodge Challenger with no front plate, pulled up alongside. So they were door to door, only feet apart. Just them. No one else around. The driver, 40-ish, unshaven, wavy brown hair beneath a camo-style ball cap, something written on it, stoner grin, snaggle-toothed, with a porno mustache. Francis was unimpressed. He took a few seconds to look Francis over, and Francis saw that he was having trouble focusing. The driver held a thin cigarette in his left hand, which rested on the window frame. He put it to his lips, took a few quick hits. Seconds went by. He seemed to be working up some comment. Francis waited. "Hey, you doing?" Francis deciphered this drawled salutation. "What are you doing here?" "Got some business up the way," he replied. "What kind of business?" The guy pretty much out of it. Trouble getting his words out. "Confidential business," answered Francis. "Confidential, huh? Well, that's a good one," he smirked. "If you're security, just say so." He nodded. Or was it a tremor? "Nah, I ain't no security. More like a caretaker. And that's why I'm asking." Francis motioned to the home in plain view now. "I need to knock on that door and deliver something." I can take it, the guy shot back. No, you can't, corrected Francis. Won't do you a bit of good to knock on that door, he pressed, playing with his mustache. That lady ain't there. Went on vacation. Back next month. Thanks for the heads up, he said, about done with this game. But I've come this far and I'll just give it a try. You ain't listened to me. The tone just short of menacing. I guess we're done here, said Francis, seeing for the first time that the guy wore angry scratch marks on his cheek, plain as day, like he'd gotten into it with a tomcat. Raked him good. Suit yourself. You want to waste your time? Be my hell, go for it. He took a drag on his slender cigarette, shook his head like he was disgusted with the general state of things. He gave Francis a goodbye nod, took his foot off the brake, and pulled away slowly, the engine making a rumbling sound. Francis turned in his seat to watch. The Challenger was in cherry condition, the envy of any gearhead. On the rear of the receding car, Francis caught sight of a bumper sticker. Follow me to Merrimack Caverns. And a vanity plate, Inagata. He smiled at the reference. Francis put the engine in neutral, pulled up the emergency brake, left the car running in the street. He'd leave it running when this far from home. It was an old car. What if it wouldn't start again? He knocked at the front door of the charming domicile on Portia Way. For a minute, he became distracted watching a ruby-throated hummingbird scouting the pale blue blooms of a rose of Sharon bush. He knocked some more, quite emphatically. No answer, but there was a dog barking inside. Proof that shit-faced on something Yahoo was lying about Elizabeth being on vacation. But why? He peeked in windows, saw nothing but furniture, a nicely kept house. Finally, and somewhat reluctantly, loath to tip his hand, but maybe she'd cooperate, he left his card on her door, asking that she call him. Done.